Good morning. I'm Dan Noon. I'm the CEO of G2 Goldfields. We have a project in Guyana, which I'll get to it. That's the core we have at our Oko main zone. It's high grade. It runs 9 grams a tonne, and it's free milling, so it is an exceptional deposit. We discovered it in 2019, and we're drilling it still. There's some forward-looking statements coming. You've already said some. We have 2 million ounces already. It's high grade. We've made a new discovery at Oko Northwest. We've got a 17-kilometre long trend. It's a 28,000 acre land package, and we think it's in one of the premier jurisdictions in the world to explore. So our company profile, we have 210 million shares outstanding, 56 million owned by insiders. That's 27% of the company. That's comprised of Patrick Sheridan, our chairman, owns 19%, or 19.9%. I've got 4.5%, and another director has 3.5%, so it's fairly tightly held. Our second biggest shareholder beside that is Anglo Gold, who came in January for 11.5% of the company for 22 million. They're currently at 12.5% and filing on SEDI every second day that they're buying more stock. Fully diluted, there's 224 million shares out. That's mostly options and some broker warrants. We haven't issued warrants with our last 3 placements. We generally like to negotiate the price and then sell them to people who want to own them. So we don't have that in front of us. Cash position $16 million, and we burn about 1.2 million Canadian a month with 5 rigs drilling down in Guyana. The company itself is Patrick Sheridan is the executive chairman. He first went to Guyana in 1993 and started Guyana Goldfields in 1994. Discovered the Aurora deposit. I joined him in 2010, and we took that through feasibility, financed it and built it. It's now operated by Zijin Mining. Post leaving Guyana Goldfields, he and myself started G2 in 2018. Myself, I'm a geologist. I started with Kennecott and Rio Tinto in Papua New Guinea on Lihir, then worked with Newcrest Indonesia on the Gosowong discovery before going to Peru and running Homestakes operations down there, and then joined the dark side and went to junior mining in Canada. Torben Michelson is our COO. He did all the early earthworks at Aurora construction, built the last 50 kilometres of road, and then went to Rosabelle in Suriname. And Boaz Wade is our exploration manager, a Guyanese geologist who has a team of 6 other Guyanese geologists. So a vast amount of experience in Guyana. We think we can operate pretty well down there. Our first resource of 1.2 million ounces, the cost of discovery was $5 an ounce, which is pretty good anywhere, let alone in Guyana. Guyana itself is the fastest growing economy in the world, and that's really based on the fact that ExxonMobil has made a major discovery down there of 11 billion barrels of oil. So I'll talk to this as we're going along, but basically Guyana is a country of 800,000 residents, 2 million citizens. It's the fastest growing economy in the world. Exxon and Chevron are down there as the major shareholders of the oil, as well as CNOOC, who own 25%. It's incredibly growing incredibly fast, the country itself. There's Georgetown, the port facility they're building is a quarter the size of that. For us, we basically drive out a paved road from Georgetown out to the Essequibo River, which is over here, which is the 3rd biggest river in South America. And from there, it's 1 hour's drive from Georgetown. We take a boat from Parika up to Bartica, and you can take seafaring vessels up to Bartica, which is the confluence of the Essequibo, Mazaruni and Cuney rivers. From there, it's a boat to Itabali, and in from Itabali, it's a 50-kilometre drive. So the infrastructure is amazingly simple compared to what it was at Aurora when we built that. These are the districts to the south of us. We have Reunion's Block 4. Everyone knows, I think, that that's under a takeout from G Mining at the moment for $1 billion. We've got the continuation of that. So for the next 2.5 kilometres, we have the Gani and the Oko deposits, which at the moment make up 2 million ounces, 1.2 million ounces of 9 grams at the Oko in the high grade, and at Gani in the south, we have another 800,000 ounces at about 2 grams. Now currently we're drilling the Gani deposit down to 500 metres as well. So we think we should be able to double that by the end of the year and end up with about 2.8 million ounces in the Gani areas. Further to the north, this shear zone continues for another kilometre and a half up to an area called the Birdcage. It's an area where Michael Vieira, the underlying owner, pulled out 64,000 ounces in 2004. It's currently under tailings further to the north, but we're drilling that. Our infrastructure, we've built a new camp there. So the road's in there and it runs very well. So we're continuing to explore drilling at Oko North, where the shear zone continues, and up at the Birdcage, which is that low-lying area. This is northwest Oko, where we discovered, we drilled at first drilling last November. We hit a hole of 16 metres, 5 grams a tonne. You can see here there's lots of artisanal historic mining there. That's the main shear zone. Along that shear of 800 metres, we generally hit a low-grade zone of 0.8 running over 50 metres with high-grade zones in there as well. Then we have Tracy, another 2 kilometres long strike. And finally, we have the historic Aramu mine, where there was 6,000 ounces mined at 15 grams a tonne back at the turn of the century, last century. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of discoveries to be made. We've got a lot of high grade, a lot of ground to explore, and it's one hell of a district, and that's the reason why AngloGold Ashanti's in here. This is analogous to the Bouassi district in West Africa. That's where we stand. This is what it looks like if you put up the long section from Reunion's 43101 long section, and you can see clearly that it's one continuous long shear system. You've got basically plunging to the northeast along that north-south shear. You have the high-grade zones, and Reunion have drilled it down to 1 kilometre. So, which probably will be one mine one day. That's what it looks like in section. You can see those steeply dipping shear zones in the Oko main zone. At Gani, you have a broader zone of lower grade mineralisation in the hanging wall down to the base of the pit, and then you go down high grade underground again. So it's a very simple, long, continuous system, behaves itself very well. Our new discovery is the Oko Northwest area. It's an area that has a similar strike length to what we see at the Oko and Gani. Once again, we have high-grade mineralisation hosted in quartz veins in the carbonaceous shear zone, but also a lower-grade 0.8 style mineralisation in the sandstones out there over that whole district. So we're drilling that currently at the moment. That will also come into our next resource calculation, which will come out in Q1 in 2025. So all the drilling between January this year through to Christmas this year will come into that next resource. Closer up on the northwest Oko target, that's the main shear we have out there. It's controlling the mineralisation. When we're on that, we get the mineralisation very consistently the whole way along. And you can see here that we have higher grade shoots, not dissimilar to what we see at Gani and Oko main zone, where you intersect fold hinges here along that trend. So currently we're just drilling that down, plunge on those higher grade zones, and we'll take that down for several hundred metres. One thing we like to talk about is the Oko main zone. It is high grade, and that's a unique thing in the world today. If it was in production, it would be the 6th highest grade deposit in the world mining at the moment. A high grade makes for high margins. As Robert Friedland is happy to say at the moment, the lowest risk mines are the highest grade mines. And it's very simple. Low grade mines, you don't have to get much wrong, and you can lose a lot of money. High grade mines gives you a lot of margin for error, and that's what the Oko main zone is. As far as the ESG, we've been down in Guyana for a long time. The IFC was our partner at Guyana Goldfields. We go with the Equator Principles. They're embedded in our systems. Certainly as far as compliance with our local content, we're right there. Our staff in Guyana is 100% Guyanese. Our drilling company is 100% Guyanese. And as far as, everyone says they've got the ESG and it's good, but AngloGold certainly did a review of us, and we certainly passed muster, so we're definitely investable as well as viable. And so basically that's what it looks like in the, that's actually from Gani South. So there's visible gold all through this system. It's a very, well, I wouldn't say unique, it's like West Africa, the high-grade gold systems over there. And we are currently drilling with 5 rigs. We'll continue to drill with 5 rigs. The main focus between now and the end of the year is to add ounces at Gani down to 500 metres, get a maiden resource at Oko Northwest, and make more discoveries at Aramu and Tracy and birdcage. So there's a lot going on, a lot of gold to be found, and we'll also keep a close eye on what happens on our southern border.